So, what makes a good self-tape compared to a bad one?
That's a good question. It's interesting. I think you get different answers depending on who in the industry you ask. So most casting directors would say, "Oh, don't worry about backdrop or lighting or any of that." But actually, I think for me, I think if you light yourself properly and you make sure that there's nothing too distracting in your background, like I don't know, your kitchen and it's really messy or something, or I don't know, a very distracting poster or something, then it's easier for them to focus on your performance. So when I'm doing self tapes, first, my setup's probably not dissimilar to this: a nice clear background, lots of light coming in from both sides so that you can see the light in my eyes. But I'm also always trying to give a performance that is authentic, is genuine, that I'm really feeling in the moment as well. And that I think gives something a little bit different. Like, you don't want to always be doing what's expected. You don't like, but there's a fine line of not wanting to do exactly the same thing as everyone else, but also not wanting to give a performance that's kind of constructed and you're thinking about what you're going to do and you're thinking, well, that will look cool, because you can see right through that. You can see when an actor's going, oh, I'm going to take off my sunglasses at this point because that looks really cool. It's not the same thing as just doing it in the moment because that's what your character's doing.
It's that balance between following convention and not following convention. That makes sense,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, because I think Stephen Bartlett said that the most successful people don't follow convention, but you can't completely break the rules because, well, this next bit's my bit, because otherwise it's just something completely different. So, what have been some of the roles that you've gotten through your self tapes?
Oh gosh, well, all of my video game work has been through self tape. So I put myself on tape for The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. And from that, they, based on that one self tape, they have cast me in all of their video games. So in various different characters. And I'm incredibly lucky that I've been given the trust to handle those characters, and they very much let me kind of create those characters myself, which is just such an honor. My role in Warhol, which has been cleaning up on the award circuit this year, which is really nice. That's that was a self tape, and prior to that, Lair as well. In fact, Lair wasn't. Lair was an in person audition, which is quite rare these days. There wasn't like a self tape portion of that before I went in. I just went straight into audition, which was actually really lovely. But yeah, I think it really, really does vary. I mean, I think the great thing about self taping is that you can do something as many times as you want before you pass it over to
Hmm.
the casting director. But that can also be a bit of a bind as well, because the more you do something, the more you lose the natural flow of it, the authenticity of it. So you kind of don't want to do it more than maybe two or three times.